Hi, everyone.
Hello, everyone. How are y'all this afternoon? I hope you're doing great.
Yes, I hope you had a wonderful 4th of July weekend and getting ready for Monday. My
Yes.
goodness, it's a lot of work, but
hmm
we do want to say hello to each and every one of you. So,
Yes, we do.
start off with hello, Beth, Michelle, Julie, Amy, Carrie, Leslie, and Heidi and Sam. It's
Hello, you lovely ladies. We're so happy you're here with us this afternoon.
yes. Tell us how you've been doing. How's your weather? What's in your cup? Olga, my love, you are up late.
Yes, you are, sweetie pea.
It is
But
good
we're
to see
glad you're
you.
here.
But let us know how you're doing, how what your weather is, what's in your cup, and what you're working on. So currently here, I'm sorry, Olga, it is 81 degrees Fahrenheit, but feels like 84. My high for today was 79, and we surpassed that. And I have Gatorade in my cup, Gatorade Zero, and I am working on my frog.
Guess we have to put
Oh,
my
I
glasses on so I can read. Hello, Denise.
well,
How are you? Thank you for joining us. I basically have the same weather as Froggy. I am 81 degrees right now. I did not check to see what the high was supposed to be. I'm just glad it's not in the triple digits like
yeah.
they were forecasting last week because our grandson on Friday, it was supposed to be 102, and they were marching at 9, 10 o'clock in the Arlington 4th of July parade. But thank goodness, folks, it was only down in the 80s. So, but it was humid. I mean, don't
Oh,
get me wrong. It was still warm, and especially to be carrying around. I think he said that thing weighs about 45 pounds because he's a
wow.
I think he has four drum heads. I think they call those
Oh, he's a
quads.
drum.
Yes.
Oh.
But anyway, hello, sweet Granny D. How are you, sweetheart?
Hey, DK Jen and Heidi said I'm working on an I cord on my knitting machine, making thicker yarn to work with from one and two weight stuff. And
Woo!
Jen, it is so good to see you. And Granny D, we love you to bits, and we are so happy to have you here. And so, Granny D, we got to play it for you every time.
Yes,
This is for
ma'am.
you. And Greeny D says it's 78 here and a little drizzle. Heidi said it is 74 but humid. Sam
Ugh,
says it is 40 degrees Fahrenheit, 5 Celsius here at 6 a.m. Not slept for over 30 plus hours. You need to get to bed. I'm
goodness
so sorry.
gracious.
And hello, Karen and Charlotte. It is so good to see you. 93 degrees and a higher heat index. Yep, you need the air conditioner. Olga said it is 14 degrees Celsius here now. Oh, 4 degrees Celsius. Bless your heart.
Ooh,
Beth said hello. I am working on a wrap called the Irigenia in a rectangle. It is a cow by Carrie, also known as Jetton.
ooh,
And Michelle said, don't have a heart attack, but I'm drinking Coke.
drinking. Oh,
She finished her
mercy
battery
me.
and she's working on a bag. Charlotte has water in her cup and a blanket on her hook. I love you too, Granny D. You're my sweetheart. And there's Denise. And she said it is 78 degrees and cloudy and drinking Diet Pepsi. Hello, Arrow Lover. It's awesome to see you. Carrie, you reached 74. It's about time.
Yeah.
And welcome in our lovely Coco. We
Hi guys.
sat here and got started without her. But this is our amazing Coco. And we love her to bits. And we're so glad she's joined us.
Yes. I'm just going to say a blanket hello to each and every one of you that came in after Granny D. Froggy did say hello to you individually, so I'm just going to do a big old blanket hello, so that way I don't have to go all the way back through the chat. But know that you are special to us, each and every one of you that come in to join us every Sunday, and I'm so glad that Coco's with us here today.
Me too.
Yes.
According
Yes.
to Leslie, I'm Cokie, but that's okay.
And Sherry and Leslie is eating, so no worries. You get you something to
No.
eat. Not a problem. but I almost didn't make it. Um, I told Maureen about this. My husband got a cake for the 4th of July weekend, and it had some blue decorations and big, huge red flowers, bright red
Mm.
icing flowers. And I ate a piece Friday, and I was sick on my stomach on Saturday, but didn't know if it was the cake or what it was.
Right.
So I ate a piece yesterday, and I have been sick on my
Just to be
stomach
sure.
all day, just to be sure. Ate a piece today, and oh yeah, both ends. I'm just saying,
Oh,
but I am feeling much better. I've had some Gatorade, and I'm a whole lot better. I haven't been running to the restroom, so I'm feeling a lot better. Sherry said
hello,
it's
Cindy
nice.
and Laura.
Hey, Cindy and Laura, it's 89 degrees with feels like 98.
Oh my
Wow,
goodness. She's warmer than we are.
that's awful.
That's right.
Ugh, I hate that.
Me too. Ugh.
But I did almost not make it, but I did
Mm.
finally just go ahead and come in. And for those of you that have been keeping up with the contest project that I am doing, um, his head is sewn on,
Look at that.
Oh, that's so
and
cute.
he's got headphones on. So I made him headphones. They're not attached to his eyes. It just looks like they're there. There you go. They are attached to his head. They don't come off. Head doesn't come off. Um, but I can take them off after the contest if I want. So he looks adorable.
He does. You know what you could
And
do? You could put snaps.
oh, I could have put snaps on it, but I didn't. They have ties on there, but they can be cut off. But
Yeah.
I think you're right. When he gets back, I'll put snaps on instead. But I love it.
He's
I can't
adorable.
come up. I haven't come up with a name. I don't know what I'm going to call him. I've been
Mm.
calling him Frog. Nope.
Oh,
Sorry.
mercy.
What was that?
I don't know, but I didn't
I
like
hit
it.
the wrong button. So I don't know what to call him. I've just been calling him Frog. Yeah, the Velcro dots would be good too.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know what I'm going to call him yet. I still
Harley.
haven't come up with a name.
How about
So
Froggle Rock?
Frog
Oh,
or Rock.
there you go. Yes.
Frog
Just
or
because
Oh
of
Rock.
my
music
goodness,
headphones.
yes.
I love that.
Oh
So
no,
if
he's a gamer name, Coco,
Hey,
because he's
Gravy.
a gamer.
it's a
Oh, it's a
gamer,
gamer headset. Okay.
Yeah.
yeah. Fergus. I like Fergus.
No, that's good, Sandra. How are you, sweetie? Thanks
I
for
like that,
joining us.
Bernie.
Fergus sounds good. Fergus the
I like
frog.
Fergus. So if y'all ever come up with a really good name, just throw it in the chat and I'll let you know which one to pick. But I am excited. So I'm
He's
so glad.
adorable.
So we have to ask Coco, have you been? We haven't seen you. So we need to know what's up in Coco.
Inquiring minds.
That's right.
I've been good. I've been tired, really busy, but good. I got another promotion, so yay me.
Congratulations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, with the promotion, does that also mean a pay raise? Okay,
Yeah.
well, see, then it's really good.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yes, he is a gamer. Oh, Frogger. That is cool.
That's what I was
That's
thinking too,
right,
because
from the
Frogger's a
old.
game.
Jerry.
Hello, Mimo Dawn. How are you doing, you beautiful lady, you?
I'm like, I'm like at a loss. I'm like, I don't know. I'm going to take all these names and give them to my husband and let him pick Felix. I like Felix.
Oh,
I like that. I like Fergus. I like Felix.
You just need a little
I
mic
like
coming out the headset.
I do. It's going to be a handheld game.
mhm.
Okay. Okay, he's gonna have something. Okay.
It's going to have a handheld game.
Okay.
My husband wanted me to do a cord going from the um, headphones, and I'm like, why? Mine doesn't have a cord.
Mm,
So
she's very.
yeah. Hi, Joan. Oh, Gorf.
Oh, hello,
Gorf.
That's
Josie. That's
good.
good.
That's
like that.
real good.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I should do that one. That's my favorite so far
Yes.
because I'm always backwards.
Oh, Julie, be a frog.
Mr. Be a Frog.
Uh-huh.
I
That's
think the kids
cute.
would get a kick out of that. It's being judged by children age 10, age 8 to 14,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
and I think they would like the BA frog
Mm-hmm.
and Freddie the frog. I like that BA frog. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
be a
I
frog.
can't wait for Joey to hear these names because he's gonna get tickled over
Or
it.
Gorf. I like
Gore,
Gorf because, uh-huh, like you
Gamer
said.
Gorf.
Mm-hmm.
Gamer Gore.
Gamer Gorf.
That's what I should call him is Gamer Gore. And
Mm-hmm.
see how many figure out that Gorf is frog.
Yep. Yep.
I love that. That is so cool. But I do hope everyone's doing well. Don't forget to let us know what you're working on, how your weather is, and what you're sipping on. But we are going to go ahead and talk about altering patterns. And this is part two from last week. And
Yes.
we want to remind you that it doesn't matter what pattern it is, you can
Mm-mm.
alter it.
That's
You can
right.
alter any pattern.
Now,
I
And
might spew nonsense because I wasn't here last week, so I might repeat something that was said last week.
well, bless their hearts, those that were here last week, Coco. I mean, I beat them over the head, and finally, Froggy said, "Okay, the horse is dead, Maureen."
I
About
did.
swatching, especially if you're doing a garment. So I don't remember where you stand on that. Do
If
you
Make it
I'm
a
swatch
doing
or
a
do you
if I'm doing
not
a
swatch?
wearable, yes. Anything else, not really. I don't bother.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
well,
that's
like
where, yeah, that's
well,
where
I
I
told
am.
them I swatched for this frog. I don't normally swatch for amigurumi, but I swatched for my frog because I needed to know which fabric was going to be better to hide the polyfill.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I did swatch for my frog, which is not normal. You are
She
mean.
was so mean.
We are mean. Swatch, swatch, swatch.
I was.
Yeah, don't worry. Eventually, I'm going to punch the horse that she's already killed.
Well, no, see, we're done with the horse. I mean, but those of you that didn't, that weren't here last week, like I said, we're not going to kill the horse anymore. Just know that swatching really is very important. And today I'm going to show you why. Now, um, it's just going to be a small demonstration over a piece that I have. But, those of you that joined Froggy and I during our members live, I made a cardigan with you. And so one of the very first things that we did was we talked about swatching because depending on the yarn that you use and depending on the hook that you couple it with is going to determine the size of the piece that you're making. So that's why I hammered you so much last week about swatching, and we took the time to doesn't ever come out right, but it teaches you so much. That is right, Meemaw Dawn. Because
It
if
does.
nothing else, it works for showing you, your own tension, your own how you as a creator, whether it's your own idea or someone else's pattern, it allows you to know with your yarn, your hook, your tension, what your fabric is going to turn out to be. So that's why I hammered so much last
Yeah,
week
because I have
about.
to say, I've made a few. Like I don't know those that know about my button-up cowl
Mm-hmm.
pattern. I've done it with the exact same weight of yarn, same hook, but different yarn, and it came
Yeah,
out a different size.
right.
So
Yes.
Because if you remember a few months ago, we showed just in the different popular 4-weight yarns and we made up, swatches for them, how two were pretty close, but then the other two didn't match up at all. So that's another reason for swatching, just so that you. Sorry, I have something to say, Mama Maureen. Can I please? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
and
Oh,
sometimes they
thank you,
count.
Shola.
It really does
Sometimes
make a
they
big.
count the halo in the weight
Yes.
also, which isn't
Yeah.
Hmm.
always.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, they do. They do count the halo in the weight of the yarn.
Right.
Mhm.
But then again, you'll find some yarn where they don't account for the halo.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
This
Yeah.
yarn this yarn here, they don't account for the halo. And there is a halo
There
on
sure
that side,
is.
Okay. Yeah.
but they don't
Like
account
latte
for it.
cakes is really a 4, but with the halo, it's a
Right.
5.
Yeah.
Oh, your Granny Panty project bag's almost done. That's wonderful.
That's great, Olga.
That's
I
awesome.
love it. My major reason for swatching is it shows me how the yarn behaves.
Yes, that's
And
another
I need
reason.
to know how that behaves when I'm doing something. It's important to me because why am I going to waste my time?
Yeah. And I
Waste time,
think,
waste yarn.
especially if this is your first wearable project, you really need to know how you're going to, uh, for lack of a better phrase, folks, just how your fabric's going to turn out, because all three of us here can be given the same yarn, the same hook, and the same instructions. And if for no other reason, just our tensions will determine if now they're going to be similar, yes, but are they going to
Yeah,
be the same size?
no.
Probably not. Um,
No.
Number
There's so
one,
many things that count.
I'm a pencil holder.
It's tension and your mood. And
Mm-hmm.
the way you hold the hook,
Yeah.
your mood really affects your tension.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm a knife holder
Yes.
and I don't see the stitches. So I go by feel. And that right there is going to change the way my fabric looks as opposed to both of you.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm
I
a
mean,
straight up loosey goosey crocheter. So
there you
Well,
go.
there you
She's
go.
loosey.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen is a tight crocheter.
Yeah.
There are so many variables, and it doesn't matter. Same pattern, same yarn, same
Same
exact
hook.
crochet,
Yeah.
and you're going to have three different looking items.
That's exactly right, Granny D. There are lots and lots of variables. And it
Yeah.
also, who was it? I believe Trish, Mama Swift said this not too long ago. Um, you're a loose hooker, Denise.
Oh my.
But I didn't know this, and I had to prove it to myself because it kind of made my brain go, what? Do you know that your tension is different whenever you're pulling your yarn out of a skein from the
Yes.
middle or if you're pulling it from the outside?
Yes.
I have always pulled my yarn from the middle. I always have. And she made a very good point in that when you're pulling it from the middle, especially if you don't pull out, several lengths and then crochet, eventually your skein gets loose enough in the middle where you don't have to do that. So
Yes.
you just crochet from that. You're putting a tension on that yarn before it even gets to your hand.
Right. So you need to pull several lengths of yarn out so that the skein itself is not putting any tension on it before you put tension on it.
That's right.
Whether you're
So,
doing it from the outside or the inside.
but if you do it from the inside, there's greater chance of more tension on the yarn than if you allow it to come off naturally from the outside of the skein.
Yes.
Oh my goodness, guys, y'all know I'm 70 years old and I just learned that a few months ago.
Oh. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't know that. My grandma always pulled from the middle.
You're
I
That
welcome.
never
or
thought
she
about
would
it, but I've
go,
always pulled lengths before anyway, so it never
well,
really
I
I
did
was an
always
too.
issue.
Yes,
I always pull out lengths because I don't want that extra tension from the skein before my hand. I don't want that. I only want tension from my hand,
yes.
if that makes sense.
Well, yes,
Um,
but like I said, and I do that from the middle, and then like I said, after a while, it just gets so loose, in the center. You get the big hole.
doesn't
You don't
matter.
even have to do that anymore. Well, for me, I don't
It
have to
doesn't
do that anymore.
it
But
doesn't matter to me. I pull it anyway.
I did make a swatch though, looking at the difference, and I use less yarn per swatch if I pull from the outside rather than pulling from the inside.
Really?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I know something I'm gonna have to do now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna have to play with that. Karen said also, how long has it been wound? Can stretch the yarn. When it relaxes, it may show a difference. That is absolutely
Yeah.
correct.
That's right.
Um, I know exactly how long my yarn has been wound. I wound it literally right before I started my project.
Mm-hmm.
This hasn't been wound long,
Yeah.
and this is loosey goosey anyway. That's
Mm-hmm.
why
Mm.
that's why it's in this, so it doesn't fall to pieces. Dawn said, "I love my yarn, Jeannie, for that reason. It has made such a big difference in consistency. I have a
Mm-hmm.
couple of yarn genies. I agree with you.
Yeah.
They are really great for holding the yarn and letting it spin
Allowing
on
you
its
to
own.
pull from the outside. Yes.
I could have done that, but I'm working with 6 mini skeins
Right.
and 1 big skein. So I would have to keep changing it out. It
Yeah.
would be more of a pain
Mm-hmm.
than a
Mm.
help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and
You know what we
I,
should do?
especially with my
Go ahead.
hand dyed yarns, I always wait until I'm ready to use them before
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
untwist and wind them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. I literally everything stays in hank form until
Mm-hmm.
it is time to work
Yeah.
with it. Otherwise, you put way too much tension on it. What is a yarn genie? Do you have one right next to you?
I don't,
Okay.
because I don't
Getting a
have one.
picture. I'm getting a picture of one for you, Denise. I have one, but it's in the other room.
Oh, Julie says if your yarn has been squished when it was packed, like vacuum sealed, that also makes a difference.
I can see
Yes, you
that.
have to. Yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to let it out and let it sit for several days
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Kind of like
so
those
that
boxed mattresses. You got to give it like 24, 48 hours for it to fully poof.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, you need to give it several days to open and relax. Let me get a good picture of it.
Well, Froggy's doing that. You know what we should do
What?
is just like a large swatch,
Right.
not by measurement, but by stitches and rows. We
Mm-hmm.
should all do one with the exact same yarn, exact same size hook, and then send it all to one person and just to see how much of a difference it makes
Oh, that would
by the
be
different
cool. Yes.
crocheter.
This is a yarn genie. This is just one type. They come in wood as well. Okay, they're held by a magnet at the top, and you put your yarn on it, and it spins as you pull the yarn off. Do you understand?
I feel like I'd be too rough for that magnet to like stay there.
No,
Oh, I don't
it's
know.
a very powerful
I've
magnet.
seen
Yeah.
several people in their lives, and that you can see it on their desk, and they're just a pulling and a yanking, and that thing goes to swinging, but it does not detach up at the top.
No,
Cool.
it is very, very good. At Stay at Odd, I was looking to see if it had a bit. Here is another wood. Mine's wood
Definitely, Dinky Jen.
like this.
Now, see, that's what I want. That one right there.
That's pretty.
This is Mine is
Mm-hmm.
wood like this. Okay. Now they make one that's a double that also comes up like this over here, and you can hold 2 skeins at once.
That's actually
But
not
yeah,
too expensive either, considering it's all
No.
no,
wood and stuff.
no, it is not. It's really nice. I was looking to see if there's a doubler. This is a doubler.
Where you can
Can you see
use, yeah, you can use a large one and a small one at the same time.
Cool.
I love the doubler. That's the what I use constantly. And I'm in love with that one. That's the one I'm using for the Aztec. That's why it's
Mm-hmm.
not here. And this is amazing to me. And I think everybody should have one. So that right there is perfect. And it holds a full skein. Don't let
Wow.
this
Cool.
don't let this fool you. This holds a full skein. That holds a full skein.
Oh, look
It's
at
not.
that. Yeah.
See,
That's cool.
it is really, really nice. So
Michelle, because she does mosaic, she needs like a quadrupler.
yeah, really. They are really, really nice. Always, yes, we do a test swatch. Always, yes. Um, I actually learned to do swatches by my Oma when I was little. She told me to save them and make a blanket. Yours is plastic, but you'd love a wooden one. I got my wooden ones from Timu. Michelle,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't hear that. But yeah, they were very inexpensive.
Mm-hmm.
They're real cheap on Temu.
Arrow says, I wish I could use one of those, but my cat would be trying to get the yarn all the time when she comes to my lap. I have to hide everything. I hear you, girlfriend.
You know, mine at first started bugging it, but now they
Mm-hmm.
just ignore it. Now they don't pay attention to it. So
Yeah, my cat
I
used
have
to
no.
know, like, you're welcome on mommy's lap all the time, but when mommy's got her yarn, she never
Yeah.
jumped on my lap. She learned that real quick.
Yeah,
Well, that's good.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. Yeah, my cats don't pay attention to it now,
It's old
so
news.
I don't have. Yeah, basically it's old news. They don't care anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, I
So
could see it at
if
first, them
you,
being like, what is this magical string thing?
it
Yeah.
was a magical thing, and they kept going over to it and rubbing against it, and it. The magnet never let go,
Oh,
Wow,
goodness.
that's impressive. That's impressive.
but it would move around and stuff. There's an Amazon link if you want to go and get a yarn genie. That is the link to the doubler. But if you scroll down, you can see the link. You can see other ones that are just a single of them.
Mm-hmm.
Olga got hers from a yarn fairy.
You did get yours from a yarn fairy. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
A yarn frog. I'm not a. I'm a
You're not a
frog, not a
fairy.
fairy. But yes, be gentle with your yarn. Um, let it breathe. Let it be
Right.
itself, and give it some room to move around and breathe and stuff. Don't smash it. It's not healthy for the yarn.
Yeah, I
That's
don't know what a
why.
crispy cone one is, Michelle, but do you guys know?
Oh, yeah, it's no different than the sugar and cream cones. It's just a different brand.
Oh, just a cone. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a
Okay.
cone. It's just Dishy brand, and it's a cone. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You need a yarn daddy. There you go.
So I have made up a swatch for you. And yeah, just let me get it up here for you. So I'm going to
Yeah.
switch cameras here real quick.
So don't wind your yarn up unless you're getting ready to use it. You know, leave it in its hang form. Leave it in its skein form. It's not. It's gonna work out good for it. Thanks, Michelle. It's a pretty picture. I'm not showing y'all. It's pretty. It's a purple
All right.
yarn.
So this pattern is called the Tread, Tread stitch. And it is made depending on how you set up your foundation row. Y'all know me. I always like to start out my foundation row with a single crochet. So typically, this stitch is started with a stitch count of 5 chains plus 7. Well, I had to sit down and redesign the stitch count because I wanted to start out with this single crochet row, which turned out to be then just a multiple of 3. But anyway, I just tell you that because, well, it's going to show you here in a minute. So I didn't do a full 6x6 swatch because for me, I've been stitching long enough or crocheting long enough that I don't have to do a full swatch. But
Everybody else should do a full swatch.
yes, and I would recommend at least an 8x8. A lot of times you're told to just do like a 4x4 or a 6x6, but I always suggest now we're talking when they say 4x4, 6x6, they're talking about inches so that you can come into the middle of your swatch and see what your stitch is. In other words, when you're looking at the main stitch of your pattern, if you're looking at just 1 inch, see right there, I can get in from here to here exactly 3 stitches using the recommended hook size, which was a 5.5 millimeter R in the US and I hook. Now, you guys know me, I'm a furls girl. I love using my furls. I should be able to get exactly the same number of stitch counts with my swatch if I was to use my baits. Now, those are the only two hooks I use. I usually use the furls or I use the baits. Now, if I had not been able to get 3 stitches in 1 inch, that would determine for me then, do I need to go up a hook size? Because if these were too crowded together and I didn't, yeah, let's just go right here. See, I have too much space in here, then I would need to go up a hook size. If it was too spread out, let's see if I can make that switch some. Nope, I can't do it. If this was more than 1 inch, then I would need to go down a hook size. Coco says, Maureen says, do as I say, not as I do.
Yes. Yes. Every
Uh,
time.
you not only want to measure across on your stitch, but you also want to measure the height of the stitch.
And it's
See.
usually better if you use a firm ruler and not a
Yes,
tape measure.
that's right. Because again, we know that these things over time will stretch. Now, normally it will take 2 rows for one. Uh, it takes 2 rows, yes, for you to measure as far as your inch is concerned. Now, see, I'm pretty close. I'm like maybe over 1/16. So I would be happy with this. So
Hey, Michael.
again, when you are popping in between family, oh, thank you so much, Michael. You're so sweet. So last week, when I hammered you so hard on the head about swatching, this is to help you to determine, okay, so I'm told to use an I hook, but it looks like I may have to use a J, or because I'm too tight, or I have to go down a hook so that I can loosen up my stitches. So it's just really a good idea to do your swatch, because if you want to alter your pattern, let's say your pattern calls for, I'm trying to guess here. Let's say your bust size is 34 and they tell you to, see, by 4, 12. You have to do 132 stitches in order to get that bust of 34. Well, what if you're 36? So if I know that for every 1 inch I can get 3 stitches, that means I would have to add 6 more stitches. Is that clear as mud?
Yep.
Yes, Denise. Yes. You wouldn't want to swatch for a blanket. You wouldn't want to swatch really for a beanie, or I've never swatched for a beanie or when I was making gloves or a scarf or a wrap or a shawl.
Yeah. Just a little note though, like
Go ahead.
depending how long your or how many rows your
Yes.
project is going to be, even that 1/16 might not sound like much, but after 32 rows, that's a full 2 inches.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was going
So
to.
keep that in
I was
mind.
going to.
Yeah.
No, I was going to come back and clarify that there. But thank you. Yes, she's absolutely right. You might think that that 1/16 is not a big deal, but you have to look at the overall length of the project. So yes, that is going to add, like she said, over 32 rows. That's another 2 inches. So for me, that's why the swatching that we hammered you with last week is so, so important.
Yes.
Um, and I would even, like for this pattern here, I would be looking at, not only do I have these 3 double crochets, but also part of my stitch pattern is this little combination of baubles that is made over 2 rows. So here I have
I,
my, there she is, 1 inch. And then here I would have to come up here and measure across the widest part of the stitch. And that's not quite 2 inches. So although I am able to about get in what I want right here for the pattern to be an inch, because this is not quite making an inch, I would go back and go up a hook size.
Now, the way I measure those is I would go with a full 2 repeats to measure it,
That works.
including that bobble, and I
I'll
divide it
usually
out.
go. I go to the number of repeats where I land on an exact inch number.
Yeah. Well, I measure out 2 full repeats and do the math, but that's how I do it.
3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12. So see, this is 18 stitches over 6 inches, so that's still 3 stitches per inch.
Yep. And then if you want to increase the length, you've got to measure your length stitches to know how to increase the length. So if you want to make this, 4 inches longer, you've got to know your stitch count for your, the length of your
That's not where it measures from. It measures
garment.
from here.
Yeah.
There you go. So
And then
this
you
would
could
be
add
1, 2, 3. This is exactly 4 rows over 3 inches.
So then if you want to add 4 more inches or 6 more inches,
Yeah.
then you would double it.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't ever go by your chain.
No.
Because
No. Because
No,
hopefully
because
you
the
all
stitches will
know.
change it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Because, that's another thing that we probably really ought to talk about. When you are starting out with your chain, make sure your chains are exactly the same, as close as they can be. If you're sitting there and you're just chaining, sometimes it's very easy for some of those chains to be small and for some of them to get loose. You want to take your time in chaining so that each one of your chains is as close in size as the one before. And hopefully you have all seen, like if you were to sit down and chain 12, let's say, and measure that, and then let's just say you're going to do a row of single crochet. So you obviously know that you're going to lose just a little bit of length because you're starting in the second chain from the hook. But depending on your tension and the way that you do crochet will determine how much of that chain length you lose. So yes, do not chain and then measure. At least do your very first row of stitches, whether it's a foundation row like I always do, or you're going directly into your stitch.
Yeah, the foundation row is definitely a better guesstimate if it comes down to that.
Yes, Cindy. And I think that's something that we don't really always talk about, is being very conscious of your chaining. Because I've seen folks that, just chain. And some of their loops are big, some of them are tight.
And straight up, my first big project ever was my big chevron blanket that is a king size, but it was meant to be a queen. Just saying. Because I was new and went by my chain.
There we go. But yes.
But now I forgot. Dang. Brain frog.
Brain frog. I love that.
When you make your chain, don't use the chain to measure because 1, you can stretch the chain.
Yes.
And 2, when you do your stitches in your chain, it can either make your chain spread out or it can bring your chain in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never measure by your chain.
No.
Never. Huge difference. Always do your repeat pattern, 1 time or 2 times, and then measure. You might have to rip it out.
I will say, folks, if you can learn to do the foundation singles, half doubles, doubles, I mean, that to me is the best for checking
Wearable.
your length. Yes.
Yeah.
It really, really is. Because number one, if it tells you you need 132 stitches to start your pattern, if you're doing that with your foundation, let's say single, when you get to 132, you're ready to go.
Yeah.
Plus, I find the starting foundation is stretchier than a chain.
Yes, it is.
So for the bottom of a sweater or cardi,
Oh,
so
yeah.
much better.
Mm-hmm.
It's also nice because if you chain 130 and then you're working your singles back across your 130 chains and you get to the end and you've got 128, you're screwed.
That's right.
But if you work the foundation single, you're good.
There's a baby bug in my mimosa.
Oh, there's two.
And I almost
One.
drank him. I hope there wasn't two, because then it's in my belly.
He don't drink much.
Extra protein is what my husband always tells me.
Protein. But if you do the foundation, and then you can always add more on the end as you count your stitches, which is one thing I love about it.
I'll be back. I'm going to dump this.
I would hope. I wouldn't share. Yeah, I love being able to add more on the foundation.
Mm-hmm.
I also think they work up very quickly.
Well, they do. And, really, just like anything, when you're learning a new stitch, just doing the foundation, it just takes practice. Yes. But I promise you, once you learn that trick of using the foundation, that's what I was saying, Karen. My husband always tells me, it's just extra protein.
Sandra said he'd be drunk, yo. It is funny. But
these are weird bugs, though. So
okay.
Hopefully they're not in the bottle. I don't see any in the
bottle. But hang on, I'm gonna pull the dead horse back up.
Oh.
Don't forget to swatch. Please don't forget. You have no idea how much a difference it will make in your work.
That's right.
If you start swatching and measuring it out and checking your work, it's going to make a difference. Because what if you swatched and did the stitches and then found out, oh, I don't like these stitches?
That's right.
You didn't waste your time on a whole pattern.
That's right. And another thing that many of us don't consider until we get into the project is, okay, I had to alter my pattern because of my my tension, so that's also going to alter how much yarn I need.
Yeah.
That's another good reason for swatching. I get plenty of protein, no need for extra.
Yeah, I don't.
And I haven't had enough mimosas to be drunk, yo. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, I didn't swatch for the Aztec blanket, and maybe I should have, because I ended up having to buy several more skeins to make it the length I needed.
Right.
I had no idea, but that's my fault, because I didn't figure it out. But oh well, it happened. That's what my grandma told my great grandma when my 4-year-old little sister was eating an earthworm in front of them.
Oh my goodness, Beth.
Nope. That's a nope for Coco.
Yeah.
You make me want to hack again. You swatch for the top you're working on and still need to adjust for width to go around your girth. That's all right. Sometimes you do. Sometimes you got to adjust. It happens. But if you didn't swatch, you may have to adjust a whole lot more than you're having to adjust now.
That's right.
Yeah. I've had to adjust, like, coming to the boobage area.
Yes.
I've just kind of slowly increased a little bit and then decreased back to where I was in the boobage area in the front portion.
Yeah, mine's always been in the booty area. Not booby, but booty.
Okay.
The seat.
Take care, Joan.
Thank you, Joan, for being with us here this afternoon.
Ugh, I had a Jolly Rancher just now, and it was so sour.
Oh dear.
I was trying to get through it.
I love sour.
Man, it was really sour.
I've
It
been
was
tempted
blue.
to try that. There's like videos about it. That's most sour candy on earth. And
It
these
was
people are
blue.
like convulsing in their cars and stuff when they're trying it. I am so tempted because I love
It
sour.
was blue, but I can't read the name of it, and I don't think y'all are going to be able to read it either.
Something cherry?
Something. The breastises area. Yes. It's under the word Jolly Rancher. I don't think you're going to be able to read it. It's so small, I couldn't even read it with my magnifier. Dang.
When I
figured
get
you just
something
make-
small, I take a picture and zoom in.
That's what I usually do, but I
I've
thought
reached
with the
that age.
magnifier it would help, but dang. Man, that bad boy was sour and blue.
You know, you're
Additional
dealing with an older person when you go through their phone gallery and it's all like labels. Because you know they're taking pictures to zoom.
I'm just saying. I'm not going to admit that at all. But it might
Well,
be.
you have an excuse though beyond age.
I do. But it could be. Dang, I zoomed way too far in. Oh, come on. It says zoom out to get clearer. Oh, it just says hard candy. Well, poo. That would
Revealed, yo.
happen. It's the Blue Jolly Ranchers.
What?
But man, let me tell you, they was sour. I'm not a blue candy person, but dang, that was sour. Yeah, well, I do have another excuse, but
It's
still.
blue raspberry, but what it actually says under just says hard candy, I think, or
Yeah, that's what it
something else.
was.
It's blue
Oh,
raspberry.
look at there. Meemaw Dawn says it's probably the blue raspberry.
Yeah.
Yes. And woo,
I love blue raz. Those are like
It made
my
my-
beach day every days are always the blue raz.
Ah,
made my mouth just fill up with saliva. Yeah, I bet it was
this
like
says
sour.
there is a woman's top that there is a tutorial for that has straight arms and a straight across neckline. I would like to make a V-neck and flared sleeves. I have no idea how to change them. The flared sleeves, you would just have to determine, where do you want the flare to start? Do you want it to be straight and start flaring here at the elbow, more like a bell? And if you did, then you would just start adding some increase rows. But I would do it gradually because I would,
I would increase by like 4
Quick
stitches.
question. Is
Yeah.
it like going from one arm straight across to the other arm when you reach that point? Because if that's the case, I would actually increase, if it's singles, I would increase slowly to half double to double as you're wanting it to start to flare.
I'm thinking she's talking about from here to the end because she wants
Yeah.
the sleeves to
Yeah,
flare.
okay.
That's one
Yeah.
thing she wants to do.
So,
And then she wants to take a straight across neckline and make a V in here.
Okay.
So
Because
you
I've
would
seen
do
some
with,
where you
like-
like take it just from arm to arm and then you
Yeah.
like fold it in half. I've seen some
But-
patterns like that.
increase by 4 stitches, then do a round, then 6 stitches, then do a round, 8 stitches, do a round, and increase gradually like that, and you will develop into your flare. That's one way to doing that. Now, as for the front, okay, you can do the back straight, that's fine. But when you go to do the front, you're going to have to, I don't know if you're working from the bottom up or the top down. I don't know. I need to know that
Yeah.
in order to tell you how to do this. But it's done if from the top, so many stitches for each shoulder, and then you gradually increase in the middle until you reach the point where you want to be at the bottom of your V-neck, and then you just work back and forth.
Yeah. But you're starting
Now-
with 2 separate pieces in that case.
It is 2 separate
And then you
pieces.
join.
Now, if you start at the bottom, you're going back and forth, coming up, and then you find where you want to split, and then you're decreasing as you're coming up to two
You'll
separate pieces.
decrease one side and then do the reverse on the other side.
Yes. So you're decreasing as you're coming this way. Decrease, 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 decrease. And here, decrease, 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 decrease. But they're going to be two separate pieces.
Mm-hmm.
It could be done.
Yeah. I mean, you can join when you get to the point of the V, and then it'll be
Yes.
back to one piece. But yeah,
Yep.
initially from the top, it'll be two pieces. Who's crying? Is that Lacey?
No, that is our granddaughter's dog. They are packing up this weekend to move from one apartment to the other. So she's been with us a few days. And Lacey's taking a nap, and we have Munchie, which is the other big dog. She's in her crate, you know, just kind of chilling. Lacey's 3, Munchie is 4, maybe 5, and this one is 1.
Oh,
so yes,
baby.
Her wants to play. And she has literally wore Lacey and Munchie out every day.
Wow.
Yes.
I can imagine.
Yes.
That says something there.
Munchie and Lacey play quite a bit together, but this third one and being a pup, oh my goodness, every waking minute, all she wants to do is play. And they're like, girl, we have to have a break. And she doesn't want a break.
Yeah, even last summer, she's just a super chill dog, man.
Oh,
she's
yeah, she is that for sure.
Hi, Han. Yeah, go ahead and tell me a joke.
Hello,
Hey,
Gwen. How are you doing?
Hello.
But
Mama Gwen, how are you, sweetheart?
if you've got pattern questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. We can answer them the best of our ability. Beth, when you go to work on that pattern, hit us up.
Yes.
Do we know I know how to play chess.
It's been a minute, but yeah.
I can play it as long as my grandson is standing right there next to me saying, no, you can't move that. So how do we play chess, Hannah? Hands?
But any questions you have about pattern altering, please feel free. That's funny. I gotta tell my husband.
I will have to share that with my husband. Mm-hmm.
That's funny. That is very funny. I like that. Oh, you did. Thank you, Beth. You did. You did. Thank you. Absolutely.
Them's fighting words, Hans.
I like that. That's awesome. You can do it.
Quick question. Are you Hans or Hans?
Well, it's either Hanzala or Hanzala.
Yeah.
I'm all out for jokes. Yes, but that would be awesome. You can do that. I can't share it on the live because I just can't.
Right.
But I would. It's someone else's live stream.
Right.
So I can't share that on the live.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, we can help you with that. That's not a problem.
So what is everyone going to be working on starting out the week?
My frog.
I'm going to be finishing up my little sprite.
And the rest of the parts just arrived.
Yay!
So they're on my porch, and I can't wait to get them. If I make side panels for this top with increases, does it change the way it would seam together? Probably.
Yes.
It probably would.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you'd have 2 joins on either side rather than the one, but it's doable.
Right. I would. Does it change the way it would seam together? I don't think so, because you're not increasing rows, you're increasing stitches. You know what I mean? So I don't feel that it's going to change the way you stitch it up.
No,
But you
but I
would
would.
need the same number of stitches for your arm. So you need that increase on your arm also.
Mm-hmm.
And that's funny. They both stopped working in airplane mode. You're right. Um, Maybe Dawn just make straight panels on the sides. Just do a straight panel, and then it wouldn't change um, with the seaming. It wouldn't change with the seaming. Make just a straight panel. I think that, oh, wonderful. Sherry just finished the coworker's birthday present and she's continuing on to her mosaic. I'm
Awesome.
working on my hand at designing a top for yourself. That's wonderful, Heidi.
That's wonderful, Heidi.
Very cool.
Yes.
I love
I tell
that.
you what, once you get to designing for yourself, oh my goodness. It
So
surely
much
I,
opens
easier
up
because
a
you're there to try it
world.
on as you
Yes.
go.
oh, and Denise is working on the Sunset Diamond Shawl by Chandy. I love that.
Awesome.
Oh, that sounds nice. I haven't looked
I
at that pattern.
I love designing. I do. That
I
is
do
one of my
too.
favorite things because, like these headphones, that's my own design. I absolutely love designing. My only problem is I have difficulty typing up my patterns, and I have a very gracious friend who types my patterns for me. But I have a hard time with the blindness typing up my patterns. Um, if I can't dictate it to the computer, I can't type it up.
Hmm.
Mm.
And we
And
all
it's hard.
know that sometimes what you tell the computer, it doesn't type that.
Yes, that is correct.
It doesn't always speak crochet.
But I do, no, it doesn't, and which is the problem. It won't dictate a crochet pattern, but it will do my outlines and
Yes.
stuff like that I do. I don't have a problem with that. Oh, I'm so glad that you're almost done.
Yeah.
I am. Yeah, I really do have a hard time dictating a crochet pattern because it doesn't understand the CH and the SC and the
Yeah.
DC. It doesn't understand it. And it wants to make it a word. And that's,
Hmm.
Mm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that is,
Slightly off topic, but I
Hmm.
was being prepped by a very English American boss manager person for a bilingual position. So it's
Uh-huh.
like and he always has subtitles on his Zoom meetings. So like just for fun, just do it again in French. Just cause he knew he was gonna understand a word I said.
Right.
But the subtitles just made up some sexual references. And he's like,
Oh.
he sent me a screenshot. I'm like, oh, I so didn't say that.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like autocorrect.
Yes.
Yeah. But
Yes.
English autocorrect doesn't know what to do when you're talking French.
Mercy me.
Autocorrect. I have autocorrect on my iPad. So I'll be chatting in Messenger and then it corrects it. It
Yeah.
does it on my phone. It does it in Messenger on my iPad. I'm like, I hate autocorrect.
Yeah,
My
sometimes there's
youngest
also
daughter.
stuff that's not even almost what you were going for. I'm like, dude, how did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Yes,
it
Mama
does.
Blonde. Yes, it
It
does.
does. And I'm like, what in the world is with this? I don't even, yeah. Why?
My
That's
youngest daughter has said, "Mother, did you read your text before you hit send?" And I will agree, folks. About 110% of the time, I don't. I just type and hit send. Yeah,
well, I
my
don't read it on my phone because I can't
hmm
see my phone.
yeah. Well,
And then my husband calls me up. He goes, "Do you know what you just texted me?"
yeah.
I'm
Those are
like,
some of my favorite things. Is like the
that
autocorrect.
busy.
I call it auto cucumber.
Yeah.
Just memes. Oh, I love them. They're
Yeah.
hilarious.
Thank you
My
for being
daughter
here
keeps
today.
saying. My daughter keeps saying she needs to write a book texts from my mother and just dump them in
Yeah.
there.
Well, I'm sure my husband was to write one text for my wife
Mm-hmm.
and my kids.
Yeah.
Because I will get a phone call inevitably going, what were you trying to text?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I get that from my sister too. I get this phone call. What were you texting?
Yeah.
What
There's been a
what?
couple of times when I was like, I didn't know my phone had that word in its vocabulary. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
sometimes it comes across with dirty words and you're going,
I know. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
that's not what I asked. I asked what we were having for dinner.
Mm.
And that is not what came out.
That could get dirty.
Yeah.
Nope. That's not what it come out. No. Mm-mm. No. You turned off autocorrect. Yeah. Well, maybe I should have Joey turn off autocorrect. I doubt if he will. He probably enjoys my goofy text messages, But I really appreciate each and every one of you for joining us every Sunday. We
Yes.
really, really enjoy you guys being here. And thank you so much for catching us on the replay. Leave us a comment down below and let us know that you caught the replay.
Don't
We
forget
would
the
And
gummies,
appreciate that.
guys.
thank you so much for being a member for 29 months Sunday.
Awesome. We're
Yay.
not worried.
We love you. We love
Yes,
you
we
guys so
do.
much. Thank you so much. Don't forget to drop your pictures of what you make in the Facebook group. We'd love to see them.
Yes, we
But
would.
I'm going to start us off with saying stay safe, be kind to one another, and happy yarning. And I'm going to head on over to Coco. You tell everybody good night.
Good night, everyone. We love y'all to bits. Thank you for coming each and every Sunday. We couldn't do it without you. Mwah.
And
And
please,
Maureen.
folks, always remember to be the light out there in the darkness for someone today, because you never know, could be your light they need to see. Thank you once again for being here. Mwah.
We love you guys.
Bye, everyone.